claiming that the LAPD should enforce significantly stricter policies on the use of firearms. A little bit about the policy right now. The use of firearms is, as written in the LAPD manual, it's under the use of force policy, which it's referred to as a deadly force, one of the deadly forces, and that force, like any other force, is used under, you use it objectively, up to the police officer's discretion in the current situation. The importance of this is that the LAPD is using unnecessarily deadly forces in certain situations, and we'll be looking at the number of LAPD shootings, which is increasing, and also how deadly force is oftentimes used when there's other alternatives. To get an idea of the number of LAPD shootings, in 2015, 48 suspects were shot by LA police, 21 of them fatally. The report said, all told from 2011 to then 2015, LAPD officers shot 223 people, killing 97 of them. This is 60% more than the shooting incidents in 2014. So sometimes deadly force is used when there's other alternatives that can be used. When in Scotland is an example of one of the countries that don't carry firearms as much as we do, and they have stricter policies, and it works well for them. And when Scott polices were teaching US cops how to use de-escalating techniques and how to avoid gun use, they said that they noticed that if confronted by a suspect who's holding a rock, an American officer would pull out his gun because he would see the rock as an imminent threat to himself or to another police officer at the scene. This is a problem because the LAPD policy is so objective that we can get away with using tactics such as these, brash tactics, when there's other alternatives that can be used. The inherency claim here is that the current policy fails to restrict unnecessary use of arms. I'll be proving this by explaining how objective the policy is, how disciplinary actions are inadequate, and how the reverence for life is poorly emphasized. One example, so let's start with the actual policy. The policy says that the reasonableness of a particular use of force must be judged from the perspective of a reasonable officer on the scene rather than with 20/20 vision of hindsight. So this is what I was saying before, is it's all up to the judgment of the police officer and how he's feeling at that time and how threatened he's feeling at that time. And it's not really considered, well, in 20/20 hindsight, weeks later, was this actually the best option? So disciplinary actions are inadequate because the policy is objective. Less than a third of LA officers received suspensions despite commission ruling their shooting incidents violated department policies or veered from training protocols. Rather, officers typically receive a written reprimand or no penalty at all. Over the 8 years, only 2 officers out of 75 were fired. To put this into bigger terms, because I know those are small numbers because we're only looking at the Los Angeles County over 1 year. Police in the 6 Southern California counties have shot more than 2,000 suspects since 2004. Only 1 officer out of all the incidents was the officer prosecuted. The reason they can get away with such low disciplinary action is because of what is stated in the LAPD manual, which is the test of reasonableness is not capable of precise definition or mechanical application. So there's really no way to clearly define if it's right or if it's wrong to use firearms. It's more of like a gray area. We also believe that they should enforce stricter policies because we believe it will improve the LA policing by reducing unnecessary deaths caused by the LAPD. It'll also just decrease the police scrutiny by the public, and it also promote reverence for life which is one of their mottos, the LAPD. Thank you.